Today on Dr. Phil, 15 years ago, John's wife abducted their 3 children.
I'm going to do everything humanly possible to find my kids.
Now,
the kids were found alive and in London.
the search is over,
She's lied to them for 15 years. I knew they were brainwashed.
but the battle has just begun.
You're going to be shocked to find out what happened when we ask Eileen and the kids to be on the show. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. You ready to move? Let's do it.
J.C. Dugard was 11 years old when she was kidnapped. That was 18 years ago.
Police found Elizabeth Wednesday at this intersection just 20 minutes south of her Salt Lake City home.
41-year-old Michael Devlin has confessed to kidnapping Ben Ownby. Investigators say their search for Ownby, missing for 4 days, also yielded Sean Hornbeck, missing for more than 4 years.
When these missing children were found, it made headlines around the globe. But more often than not, it's a parent that kidnaps a child, leaving another parent in a desperate search. Now, that's what happened to John Clark. 15 years ago, his wife just disappeared with his 3 children, leaving only a note behind that they were going on vacation. He never heard from them again. Now, you may remember this tragic story.
Eileen kidnapped my 3 kids 11 years ago.
Honey, Eileen.
Hey, say hi to Daddy.
We were married. We had 3 kids together, Chandler, Hayden, and Rebecca. The last time I saw my kids was on February 10th of 1995. It was early in the morning. The kids were around the breakfast table. I kissed my 3 kids on the head, and I went to work.
Bye, honey.
I came home that evening, and she was gone. I had no idea where she was. It's like she dropped off the planet, totally disappeared. 2 years later, I got a divorce by default. I got remarried in 1998 to Jeanette.
John has never given up hope. His prayer on a daily basis is that he be connected with his children again.
When the kids left, they were 7, 5, and 2. I wonder where they are, how they're getting along. Are they safe? My greatest fear is I'll never see my kids again. I don't want to leave this earth without having the opportunity to see them again.
Bye! Bye!
Now, he believes that her parents know exactly where she is and how to get in touch with her. So John, along with his private investigator, made a house call to Eileen's parents.
Hey, Mr. Sams, how you doing, sir? I'm an investigator. Yes, sir. We've been trying to find Eileen. When's the last time you had contact with her?
Call in.
Where did she call from?
We don't know.
Would you give us access to your phone records?
How's your dad?
They're fine.
Your mom all right?
They're fine. They're both fine.
Remarried yet?
Yes, I am.
I figured you'd be by now.
Is she in the country at least?
She's had a better experience. And,
I've had a very bitter experience, Marion.
well, take care of yourself.
He lied. She's going to get on the phone now and call her. He told Guy and I that he's in contact with her, that he does hear from her on a regular basis. When he's interviewed by the FBI, he tells him he hasn't heard anything from her. He spent more time asking me direct questions about how my parents were than he was about dealing with the issue at hand. I'm a little upset.
What keeps you going looking for these kids, John?
I just have a goal. I just set in motion that I'm going to do everything humanly possible to find my kids.
Well, John did continue his search for years, and finally, after private investigators, district attorneys, U.S. attorneys, and the FBI, the call came. The good news, the kids were found alive and in London. The bad news, John still has not been able to see them face to face. His only glimpse of his now grown children was on a news clip from overseas.
Since the last time I was on this show, I received a phone call from the assistant district attorney, and he told me that my kids had been located and my ex-wife in the UK. I just kind of broke down and started crying. It was the greatest news I'd had in the last 14 years.
An Oxfordshire woman fled to Britain with her children 10 years ago to escape a failed marriage. She's now facing extradition charges to the United States on charges of child kidnapping.
When I saw that video, it was really, to me, it was incredible. It was just great to see all three of them. You always wonder how your kids are going to turn out.
The family settled here 12 years ago and have built a new life for themselves after Mrs. Clark divorced her husband in America. But recently she answered a knock at the door and found police officers with a warrant for her extradition to America. She spent 2 nights in prison, leaving her children deeply distressed. Their mum is on the FBI's most wanted list. Although Mrs. Clark says she's told the American authorities where the family now lives, her children are also on the list with a description of them as missing victims. Following her divorce, Mrs. Clark moved state and was charged with custodial interference. She's been in contact with the authorities, she says, for over a decade, and yet only recently did she get told she faces extradition and imprisonment.
If the United States wants to have someone extradited, they can just invent a charge, and if the paperwork is correct, the UK pretty much has to snap to and deliver.
And she's my little mum, you know, she's been looking after me my entire life. My mum is not a dangerous criminal, she shouldn't be extradited. It's absolutely stupid.
I love his hair. Look at Hayden.
I'm hurt. 15.5 years were taken from me. I missed those kids. I missed that relationship. I didn't get to see if my kids were athletes. I didn't get to see if they were great students. What she's done is lied to them for 15.5 years. Daddy's dead. Daddy's gone. Daddy doesn't love you anymore. So they've been brainwashed for 15 years. This is not about extradition. This is about my kids. They're a part of me, and I don't want to lose them. I'm not going to stop trying.
Wow. Well, so that's good news. I mean, this is a mixed bag because of what you're saying, all the challenges. These kids have been programmed, obviously, about you and against you, we have to assume, for all of this time. That's your fear.
I saw the videotape of them, and then I heard them say, both in the press and on that video, that they didn't want to have anything to do with me. I knew they were pretty much brainwashed.
Mm-hmm. Now, she's been arrested. Eileen's been arrested, and now she's out on bail, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and the extradition process, she would be facing international parental kidnapping charges, right?
That's right.
So they would have an extradition hearing, which is coming up within the next 30 days. Mm-hmm. And that could take how long to get her back here?
Well, I understand it can take, it could take up to 2 years. I mean, she could postpone this and continue to postpone it. It all depends on the legal system in the UK if they allow that to go on.
All right, well, take us through this. How were they found? How did that happen?
Well, I mean, it was a fluke. I mean, they'd been on the FBI's wanted list for almost 15 years. They were off and back on. But we really, during the last 15 years, never got any leads. I mean, not any solid leads. What was told to me by the FBI, the special agent in charge, is that my middle son, Hayden, was in a UK hospital having some problems with his heart, that he made an offhanded comment to a patient that was in the room with him, that he was really basically trying to cheer him up, saying, life isn't that bad. You could be wanted by the FBI. And he made an offhanded comment like that to his bedmate. And I believe at the same time, a nurse overheard that conversation.
So you got a phone call. That she called, turned him in, found out it was the case. Then you got a phone call. How was he when he got the phone call, Janelle?
He was actually, when he called me, he was on a ladder about 25 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You're never going to believe what happened." He was at work. And he goes, "You're never going to believe what happened." I go out and he said, "They found him." I go, "No way, no way." And he goes, "They found him, they found him." And then all I can hear,
I was just kind of broke down.
all I can hear was him sobbing. And I said, "Yeah, I can't wait to see you." And so he finished up what he did. He came back and he cried a lot that day. Quite a lot.
What went through your mind and heart when you found out that they were alive, they were well, and they had been found?
I slept really well that night. At a break, it was kind of, I felt like I was getting closer to the end of the journey. I stayed with this so long. I fought so hard. I have a lot of people to thank that have helped me over the years. They stayed with me, but I never stopped fighting for this. I never stopped looking. And when one roadblock would
present itself. I just wanted to overcome it and go on to the next one. So this is incredible.
Were you surprised how much the boys look like you?
Oh,
I mean, we have some stills for comparison. Let's look at these. This is Chandler. Okay.
They're both stunning.
Yeah. And then this is Hayden.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, they look like carbon copies.
It's incredible.
Well, you know, we've got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about why did Eileen take these kids? I mean, we're going to take a close look at the notes that Eileen left for John right before she disappeared. Plus, you're going to be shocked to find out what happened when we asked Eileen and the kids to be on the show. We'll be right back. This stage, you look the same. I look much older. Now, John Clark's ex-wife left the country with his 3 children, Chandler, Hayden, and Rebecca, over 15 years ago. He has not seen them since. They were 7, 5, and 2 years old. Now, stop and think about that for a minute. Stop and think about your children at that age, and one day you just kiss them goodbye in the morning on the way out the door, and then you never see them again. 15 years later, the phone rings. They've been found. The FBI has located John's now adult children and their mother, Eileen, in England. Now, Eileen was arrested and released on bond and is now awaiting an extradition hearing. Now, let's talk about this. On reflection, you had no warning signs, no indication that she was going to up and take off with these children.
No, we had conversations. I mean, I would say 2 months prior, she decided that we weren't going to sleep in the same room together, so she decided to sleep with the baby. You know, we had no physical contact. That was the signs that I knew something was basically going on, kind of.
Were you fighting about anything in particular?
No, the strange thing was it was very silent. I mean, it was kind of like she was pulling away, separating herself from me. And one thing that really startled me is my kids on the weekends always went with me to, you know, any of the stores that we went to. And that was the first time that Chandler didn't want to go with me, was the last 2 months that we were together.
Well, let's take a look at the notes that Eileen left at the time. We have taken a vacation. I cannot stay here any longer with so much tension. I'm not sure where. When I'm sure, I'll let you know.
Right.
Was this out of character? I mean, I can't imagine my wife just leaving me a note saying we're taking a vacation.
Well, I was blown away. I never saw it coming like this. I mean, I found the note, and that was on a Friday evening when I came home. And then the next morning on Saturday, I actually called the brokerage firm which handled her money, and I found out that on Friday, the day previous, that she had actually taken all her money out. So if she was going on a vacation, she took a lot of money so she could probably go for a couple of months. Also, the birth certificates were gone. All the pertinent documents, diamond rings, things of value, they were gone.
So you knew right then, this is no vacation. She's in the wind.
That's correct.
Okay, now 2 days later, John got a letter in the mail. It says, "Dear John,"
Yeah, I know.
"We have no need of the car, and I didn't want you to have need of it for business and it not be available to you. We are going to a quiet, safe place, and we'll be able to work things out from there. That eliminates the possibility of you blowing a gasket, i.e. temper, or me getting upset. I hope we can both come to a place of peace in our hearts and enjoy each other as a family. I will be in touch as soon as possible. Love, Eileen." The car is at the airport. The keys are at the Southwest Airlines counter. We'll call soon when we're settled. Is this out of character for her, personality-wise? Did the letter sound like her?
Well, I don't really see any, declarative sentences there. She kind of floats around and doesn't finish her thoughts. That to me is, that was usual. But for her to write a letter to me like that was very unusual.
But why? I mean, there are so many things you can do. You can file for divorce. You can get a separation. Mm-hmm. You can go stay with your parents. You can Had she tried any of those remedies to get away from you before this time?
I felt like I was being set up. I mean, when I saw the note come in the mail and then I saw another note that was actually sent to her parents, I just figured that she was really trying to set me up to be the bad guy.
In a divorce?
In the divorce, yeah. I really thought that she was the reason that she took off was because she really felt that if we were going to be separated, that I would have a chance at, or I would probably be the custodial parent.
She,
so I think
she
was
felt
scared.
like you might have gotten custody?
Yeah.
Why would you have gotten custody as opposed to her or a joint custody?
Well, I mean,
why would she predict that?
Well, at the time, you know, there were several comments from the pastor of the church that we went to in Atlanta who had made comments about her. People that knew her, her friends were making comments about her mental behavior, her instability, and how she reacted to certain things.
But now she has attorneys in her family, right?
That's correct.
So, I mean, it wasn't like she didn't know about legal remedies and filing for divorce, separation, any number of things she could have done. Now, Pat McNerney, Assistant Attorney General for the state of New Mexico, was the attorney in the DA's office when Eileen disappeared with the children. Pat, thanks for being here so much. This seems like such a hugely dramatic thing to do before you ever go through a separation or a divorce or anything. This is a huge violation of his rights and the children's rights, true?
Well, that's correct. Eileen is not the victim here. I would say that the three children and John Clark, they're the victims in this case. There are lots of mechanisms that the law provides. If you're having problems in a marital relationship, you don't run off with the children, because that violated, in this case, John Clark's rights. So this is the kind of case in New Mexico that's called custodial interference, and it is a felony.
So this is serious business. Now, we invited Eileen and the three children to participate in the show, and you knew we were going to do that. Now, Eileen's attorney, U.S. Attorney David Foster, told us that Eileen would not be able to appear, and the only way the children would agree to come on the show is if John would stop the extradition of Eileen and get the charges dropped. Now, you're aware of that, right?
I'm aware of it.
So they said if you would stop the extradition and you would drop the charges, then the children would agree to come on the show.
That's correct.
And what did you say to that?
Absolutely not. She doesn't get a get out of jail free card for what she's done. People have to be responsible for the decisions they make, and I want to see my kids. It's #1 on my list, but also people need to be responsible for what they do. And I'm not going to give up making sure that Eileen, like any other person that breaks the law, has to stand up for what she's done.
But here's a question I've got. Well, I've got two questions, actually. Number one, I'm no lawyer, but he doesn't control these charges, does he?
Well,
I mean, he can't drop the extradition. I mean, she's committed a crime, so that's the government, right?
That's correct. And I think that once John did the investigation and the case was given to the district attorney's office, at that time it became a case, an active case, under the state of New Mexico.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have the right to do that anyway, but
no.
If you were such a bad person that she had to take these children and flee the entire country to get away from, why would she offer them up now in exchange for dropping the extradition charges?
Well, she's just using the kids as bargaining chips. I mean, that's what she's done. She's hurt them. By taking the kids away from me, she hurt me, but in the long run, she really hurt the kids.
Right.
Clearly.
Right.
Clearly. I mean, the children have been cheated out of their father. Now, up next, the question is, everybody keeps asking themselves, was there a reason for Eileen to run with the children for 15 years? Now, she has alluded to abuse. Now, John takes a lie detector test to deal with whether or not he crossed the line. Was he abusive or was he not? We're going to talk about that when we come back. 15 years ago. Her name is Eileen. John has remarried. His wife, Jeanette, is here with him now. The FBI recently located them in England. Now, according to the Oxford Mail, Eileen said she was too scared to remain in her marriage to John. Now, I want to be very clear about this because she hasn't been very clear about this. She has not made specific allegations, but has alluded to the fact that you were abusive.
That's correct.
With her and with the children.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wasn't there at the time. You weren't there at the time. I mean, none of us were. So you do what you can to try to get to the bottom, because the fact of the matter is, John, and this is one of the things that you're going to have to contend with, there are situations where there are abusive husbands. There are situations where wives fail to get the protection from the courts that they need, or they get a temporary restraining order, which is a piece of paper. Bullets go through paper, fists go through paper. There are women that have felt like they had to run to protect their own children. And I don't think there's a mother on the face of the earth that wouldn't say she would go to jail if it meant keeping her children safe from someone evil. Now, you, of course, have denied any abuse whatsoever.
That's correct.
And so we ask you to take a lie detector test. We ask you to take a polygraph. We asked Jack Tremarco, who is a former FBI polygraph operator, to administer the test. Jack Tremarco is the best of the best. You don't know the results of that. I have them in this envelope. So did John pass the test? Take a look.
This polygraph test is the one that's used by the FBI. If you tell the truth today about everything I ask you, you will pass this test.
The best thing that's going to come from this test is this is going to remove all doubt from my kids' minds that I was ever abusive to their mother.
All right, John, I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready.
Here we go. The test is about to begin. Are you sometimes known as John?
Yes.
Are you sure that I won't try to trick you on this test? Yes. Regarding if you ever deliberately physically injured Eileen during your marriage to her, do you intend to be completely truthful with me about that?
Yes.
Did you ever deliberately physically injure Eileen?
No.
That'll conclude the test.
I just finished the lie detector test. I'm very confident in the results. I'm 100% confident that I passed the lie detector test.
Okay, I'm glad that you were able to do this and that you were able to take the test. We have the results here. And Jack Tremarco is joining us by phone. I'll talk to him in just a minute. I'm going to read these with you. There were two main questions that you were tested on. Number one, did you ever deliberately physically injure Eileen? And your response was?
No.
And the results are that that was not a deceptive answer, that you did tell the truth on that answer. The second question, did you ever deliberately physically injure Eileen during your marriage? And they asked these different ways to get to it. Your response was?
No.
And the results were not deceptive. So very clearly, you took this polygraph test, you told the truth, that you were not abusive to her. And we ask about physical, because mental is a state of mind, and you can't ask somebody about their state of mind, right. So we have to ask about physical. So we asked, did you ever physically injure her in any way? And your answer was no, and that was a truthful response. Jack, are you with us?
I am, Doctor. Sorry I can't be there today.
Well, thank you for doing this. Was this a valid test, and are you confident in the result?
I'm absolutely confident. It was a wonderfully run test. Mr. Clark was totally compliant with all my requests. There were no signs of countermeasures, and the exam itself has been quality controlled by another person with my type qualifications, and we both come to the same conclusion, non-deceptive to that relevant issue of physical abuse.
So you can say with a high degree of scientific certainty that this man has not been abusive of his wife?
Absolutely.
And how many polygraphs have you administered, Jack?
Over 3,000.
So this ain't your first rodeo. You're good at this, and you say someone else scored this independently based on the protocols generated by the equipment.
Yes, and conform to the standards of the American Polygraph Association and the California Association of Polygraph Examiners.
All right. Well, Jack, thank you so much for doing this, and thanks so much for kind of putting a frame around this so we understand what the results mean. We'll be right back. Three children in 15 years. You've missed 45 birthdays. You've missed 15 Christmases, 15 Thanksgivings, 15 graduations from each year of school as they've gone along. I mean, it's so much has been taken away. How do you ever get that back, John?
I don't think you get it back. You just have to start again. My goal is to try to have a relationship with my boys and my daughter. I have to start anew, so I have to start building that foundation. And I have the personality where I don't know if I'm stubborn or stupid, but I just keep pushing forward. And I just know with the grace of God, I'm going to keep moving forward and more and forward and forward. I'm just not going to stop, and that's my personality. I do it with the business I run. Sometimes I do it too much with my personality, with Jeanette, but I don't believe you quit on your kids.
No.
You feel his pain. I can see it and hear it in you.
I do, because here he is the victim, but yet he's the one that's having to prove himself. And I think the system doesn't protect the innocent, they protect the guilty. And I'm so tired of seeing this, not just in his case, but others. And here, she's had 15 and a half years to abuse her kids' minds. And is she gonna be held accountable for that and responsible for that? And I think it's not just John's case. I think maybe he always says, why me, why me? And I go, well, you gotta find something good out of the situation to help others. Because there's a lot of people in this nation, in this world, going through this, right, where a parent can just pick up and see you later and no repercussions at all.
I did this lie detector test because I want my kids to know that I did not abuse their mother. I want them to know categorically that never happened, and I want them to start thinking, because I know they're going to see this, and I want them to know, and I want them to start searching in their own soul really what happened. Maybe they'll give me the opportunity. That's all I'm asking for, is an opportunity to be a part of their life, and that starts when we can have a conversation.
Face to face.
All right, let me tell you what I want to do. I want to take a break. And I want to add somebody to this conversation so we can talk about what the next months or years may involve in putting this relationship back online. We're going to meet a woman whose father fled with her when she was just 6 years old. Now, you won't believe what he told her about her mother and why her psychiatrist said it was the worst case of brainwashing he had ever seen. We're going to see what she has to share with John when we come back. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, there are over 200,000 parental kidnappings every year. That's right, I said 200,000. Now, many of the parents left behind never see their kids again. Now, Deanna was abducted by her father when she was just 6 years old.
When my parents got divorced and I was living with my mother at the time, she had custody of me, and my father had visitation rights. The day he took me, I must have been in kindergarten or first grade. I said goodbye to my mom, I kissed her, and I went to school. Within a couple of hours, my father came to the school and said he needed to take me home at that point. He said, you know, we're gonna go for ice cream and we're gonna have an adventure. And within an hour, we were at LAX and on a plane to Canada.
I went to the police. At that time, there was no parental abduction. It was called child snatching.
During that time, we traveled to about 22 different countries. After 2.5 years, he decided that he wanted to live in Tel Aviv in Israel. I was an Orange County girl, and then we're in Tel Aviv, and I'm going to Hebrew school, and I'm Catholic. He had me under control, and there was a story I had. I would tell people my mother has passed on, or my mother has abandoned me.
My detectives, they gave up. No leads, nothing.
My father started to condition me through those years. It was a brainwashing, and he would say, if your mom really loved you, she would find you.
I never gave up hope that I would ever see Deanna again, but I didn't think it would take that long.
We were in Europe for a total of 3 years and moved back to the States. Finally, when my father decided to settle outside of Boston, she found us, and I was 12. My father was arrested and was thrown in jail for 24 hours.
She was shy, she was non-reactive, not the Deanna that I knew. They had assigned a psychiatrist to the case. The psychiatrist said, I've never seen a case like this where a child was so programmed. He told me it would take over a 40-year period for us to ever regain our relationship because the bond had been broken.
I ended up staying with my father. The court system felt that it would be in my best interest. My father had me so convinced that my mother was this terrible person and she was a monster. At 24, I searched my mother out. I had suppressed the truth of everything. I was kidnapped.
It's been over 22 years of being finally reunited.
My relationship with my father is non-existent. He stole my spirit. He robbed me. He hijacked my personality. He wanted to stifle me and control me and manipulate me to the point where I didn't have an identity.
Well, thank you both for being here to talk about this, because you've been through exactly what these children have been living now. And this wasn't just a geographical location. I mean, you were systematically programmed to believe certain things, true?
Absolutely.
And you say you were in fact, I wrote it down. You said you were in, what, 22 foreign countries, 38 states. He changed your hair, he changed your look, he did everything to hide you. And even with that, he was only able to hide you for 6 years. With you, it's been 15 years. Yes. When you say he stole your spirit and your identification, what do you mean?
Well, what I mean by that, it was over a period of time. It was a gradual process that happened. It wasn't, but I have to say that some of that also started before he took me as well. I think that there was a conditioning happening at that time, but I wasn't aware of it, and you're not. And so over time, he wouldn't tell me everything at once, but what he would say is, you know, over time your mother doesn't love you. You know, if she loved you, she would find you. He would make up stories about my mother, about just how she was unfit, that she could never be the parent that could love me like he could. I was daddy's special little girl. Mm-hmm. So over a time, there was a conditioning that was happening. So it was brainwashing. I mean, now it's called parental alienation syndrome. So it's actually a way to pit your child against your mother or your parent.
Coming up, I'm going to share with John what I think some of the next moves and consideration should be relationship-wise. We'll be right back. What I really hope you'll understand is that relationships are built across time. And you can have a relationship with these three children, but it won't be a father-child relationship. Right. It will be an adult-to-adult relationship, because you weren't there at the ball games. You weren't there when they had the flu. You weren't there for the first date. You weren't there for some of those things that create that parent-child dynamic. And I'm sorry that you weren't. It is so tragic what she has done. If if you overcome this, and I truly believe that you will, it will be through patience and compassion with your children, and understanding that you have to say, look, I prepare my heart, it is open, and I stand open-armed and ready to receive you 1 inch, 1 millimeter, 1 word at a time. But you will never alienate me. You and I were robbed of our relationship. It's the same as if someone comes into a bank and robs the teller and the customer. You were in it together, and you're both victims. And you have to understand that you've both been robbed. They may react to it differently than you, but you have to be very patient. And if they want to see you, if they want to plead with you to take a different tact in this, be willing to hear anything and everything they want to say. But I wouldn't cave to extortion by lawyers or anyone else. I would just prepare my heart, say I'm open and I'm ready, and I will spend the rest of my life nurturing a relationship with you. In your situation, it was 10 years before you were ready to receive this love from your mother. And you two now have a relationship that they will have for the rest of their lives. So you don't do it for a week, you don't do it for a month, you don't do it for a year, you do it until. You do it until. And life's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And what we want is for you to have grandkids sitting on your lap. We want you to be there with them, and what happens in the next 6 months or the next year may have very little to do with what happens for the next 30 or 40. And it's such a conflicting message because you're so excited that they're found, but yet you've got such a steep and slippery hill to climb. But if you do it with patience and an open heart, it turned around here in what was described as one of the worst cases that anybody's ever seen. Will you go there if they're willing to see you?
Absolutely.
And you would bring them here?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever
it takes.
Whatever it takes. Will you meet and talk with your ex-wife if she wants to talk to you?
Yes.
So you're willing to have a family meeting even after all of this has happened?
Yeah.
You would be willing to do that?
Right.
Well, no one can ask anymore. I mean, you could be bitter and resentful and have that animosity in your heart, and that's certainly not what you're doing.
I just love my kids, and I just want them to be a part of my life, and I want to be in theirs.
Well, you're all in our prayers. We'll be right back. Well, John is planning to head to London, and we'll be documenting his journey. And Jeanette, you were asking me if I would be willing to sit down with the kids and with the family, and you know, I most certainly would. I would sit down with John and Eileen and all 3 of the kids and anybody that wants to be involved. And I would love to sit down and talk to your children because you know, they haven't done anything wrong here. And they're being as passionate about their mother as we heard Rebecca talking about, saying extraditing her, that's for criminals, it's ridiculous. She was 2, she doesn't even know you.
Right.
She's not wrong to be thinking that way. I mean, you would expect a child to be protective of a parent. But what has to happen here is they've got to hit the reset button on what they have believed to be the case and what they have believed to be true. And they may not even be upset with their mother, but they certainly shouldn't be upset with you. This but-for logic just doesn't work in this situation. So we'll be following this, and we'll keep all of you at home posted. If you're thinking about abducting your children and absconding, look, this is not the answer. There are so many remedies before you get to that point. And it's not just about you, and the children will not benefit from your doing it. If you're thinking about it, think again. For more information about this show, go to drphil.com. You can also reach me on my blog or Twitter. A special thanks to Jack Tremarco of Tremarco and Associates for administering the polygraph. And Harold, thank you for all of your work in this situation. You create results, and so Harold Kopis, private investigator, thanks so much for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
I feel that David views Alexis as his possession and may use his guns to protect his possessions.
He's her daughter's survivalist boyfriend.
I am armed, and I will use it if necessary.
A threat to their family.
He's dangerous.
Does he support a relationship with your mother?
Yeah, he wants me to have a relationship with her. Is that why he calls me a bitch?
Did he kidnap your daughter?
He did. No!
All their accusations.
She asked me to come get her.
You're lying.
I'm lying? Why don't you shut the hell up? I'm not going to shut my mouth.
Have been leading up to this.
If I didn't think I'd go to jail for it, I would go across this 3 feet of floor right here, and I'd take his damn head off.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. I want you to imagine waking up in the wee hours of the morning and discovering your child is missing. That's what happened to my next guest, Gina. She was completely frantic, claiming her beautiful daughter, Alexis, was kidnapped by her boyfriend, snatched from her bed in the middle of the night. Gina believes that the boy brainwashed her daughter, filling her head with doomsday plans. She says he claims to be a survivalist and has an arsenal of weapons and ammunitions and a cabinet full of emergency supplies. So right about now, you may be thinking that this is a show about a missing girl and that there is an all-points bulletin out for her. Well, no, not the case. In fact, she's backstage with her boyfriend. Come on, you know there's always a lot more to a Dr. Phil story than meets the eye. So, is the mother a drama queen, or is the daughter in danger? There are so many layers to this story, you may need to grab a notebook. First, let's hear what Gina and her husband Mike have to say.
3 weeks after Alexis met David on Facebook, and only once in person, Alexis left in the middle of the night to go live with him. I believe that David kidnapped Alexis. David has told Alexis her whole entire life has been built on lies, that I am a very controlling, manipulating person, that I have gone out of my way to ruin people's lives. David has made Alexis believe that she was in a dangerous situation when she was living at home. He's trying to turn Alexis against her whole entire family. I absolutely believe David has brainwashed Alexis. I called the police when David came to the house and took Alexis. I was scared for my daughter. I didn't know who took her. I didn't know where she was going. I had no clue where David lived. I felt Alexis was in danger by being at David's, so I snooped on Alexis. I found on her Facebook page about them having sex, about the drinking, the marijuana that was being smoked in their house, and I found out that Alexis was shooting a gun. David is a survivalist. Any kind of meat he eats is either fished or hunted.
I've only physically talked to David in person one time. He came to Alexis's graduation party and he carries a gun. I told him, don't bring the gun. He brought the gun anyways, he left it in his car, but he wore his holster around the party the entire time, which really irritated me.
David's very eccentric. He wants to make marijuana legal. I've seen pictures of David with machine guns, machetes. David's very pompous.
It's anger that I feel towards David.
Mike has threatened to beat the crap out of him.
She has to open her eyes. She needs to see the danger.
I feel that David views Alexis as his possession, and I feel that he may use his guns to protect his possession.
I miss her so much. I love her, and I just want to make sure she's safe and not brought down by him.
Well, I have to tell you, as a parent, this is horrifying to me. I can't imagine in the middle of the night somebody's coming and picking up my daughter. So what happened? Where were you? How did you discover her gone?
I was sitting in our living room. It was about 11:45, and all of a sudden, I see lights pull into our driveway. All of a sudden, I see someone throwing things into the car and jump in the car, and they took off. My first reaction was, oh my God, where's my daughter? Because that was the first thing.
How'd she get out of the house?
She snuck by behind me. I didn't even hear her.
Okay, were you home?
Yeah, I was actually in bed.
And you come to find out she's been picked up by who?
David and his mother.
Oh, his mother was involved?
Yes.
So David, who's this boyfriend that she had known for how long?
At that time, 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks.
And she met him how?
On Facebook.
Didn't you introduce them?
Yes, to a point. I was on Facebook, and Lexi and I used to always tag each other and stuff, and I had seen a picture of him on a Facebook page, and I tagged her in it, not thinking anything of it, and it turned around and it bit me.
Was this just kind of a joke?
It was a big joke, yeah.
Like, oh, how about this one?
Right.
And you were just joking because you
Yes.
thought this is not her type.
No, not her type at all, no.
So you thought she would just go, yeah, ha, ha.
Right,
But they somehow started talking.
correct.
So your joke backfired,
It backfired big time.
and they wound up actually getting together.
Yes, they did.
Okay. So did you know they were talking?
I did know they were talking. He actually reached out and talked to me a little bit. Just very little. He seemed like a gentleman at first. And I was like, it's okay, they can talk. He lived 3 hours away from the home. Never thought they would meet up or any of that.
During this time that she's talking to him, you said she started getting sneaky and lying.
Correct. And rebellious. She would sneak around. There's times set on our phones, even with her being 18. After a certain hour, it's time for bed. You don't need to be on your cell phone all night long. And she would be sneaking on her phone. She went shopping, and she bought some real, I call it slutwear, underwear. There was no reason for it. And I knew that there was an ultimate motive when I found out that she had that, but she was hiding it from me. And I told her, you're 18, you need to be an adult, you need to talk to me.
And of course, we know the point is, once they get to be 18, you become an influencer,
right,
not a director.
Right.
You can kind of try to influence them what to say or do or where not to go or go, but you don't really control it.
Right.
So you were in a position of not being able to dictate, but just try to influence.
Correct.
Alexis says she was not kidnapped by her boyfriend. Says that's not true. She says it was her choice to leave and that David is her protector, not her captor. So let's hear what Gina's daughter has to say.
My mom introduced me to David through a modeling site. We started talking and we hit it off. David is a male model. It was odd. I love his eyes. He has very pretty blue eyes. He does have a good body. He's my soulmate. My mom has not been fair to David. David did not kidnap me. I left on my own free will. I moved into David's place 2 weeks after we had met. He's not brainwashing me. She's worried that she's not gonna have me anymore. And my mom has told me that David's trying to get me pregnant. I am sexually active with David. It's not my parents' business at all. My mom claims that David's the controlling one, but really she's the controlling one. My mom controls my phone, my computer, my iPod, where I went, who I would like to hang out with. If she didn't like them, I was not allowed to hang out with them. I am old enough to make my own decisions. My mom has contacted David over Facebook on the modeling pages that he's on and said, "Be careful, ladies, looks can be deceiving." I was very irritated when I saw that. My mom has made me feel like I have to choose between family and David, and I don't think that's fair.
Okay, now you've not seen your mother for how long?
About 2.5, 3 weeks.
2.5 or 3 weeks. So y'all have not seen her till right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you feel seeing your daughter now?
I miss her. I'm emotional.
How does she look to you?
She looks beautiful as always.
How do you feel seeing your mother?
Emotional. I mean, I miss my family. It's not that I don't miss them. I miss them a lot.
Yeah. But why have you not seen her in 2.5 or 3 weeks then?
It's nothing but drama when we talk.
Like what about? What's the drama? What's it go like? What's it about?
All about my decision and how I'm making a wrong decision and, you know, like yelling at me and stuff like that. Like, we can't have, like, when I would, like, I couldn't call and have a normal conversation with her at all or anything. It would all be about what I'm doing wrong and I need to come home.
Is that true?
To a point, yes. It is. She's 18. She just got out of high school. Alexis needs to be in college.
Well, is she just making a huge mistake here?
Absolutely huge mistake.
Tell her, I mean, you haven't seen her in 3 weeks. Tell her what she's doing. What is the biggest mistake she's making? What is she doing wrong here? Tell her.
Alexis, you're putting yourself in a situation that's not good. You're not doing anything with your life. You have so many opportunities in life and you're not doing anything with them. You're with somebody he's dangerous, Alexis. He's dangerous. Emotionally, he's very dangerous. I want to see the best for you, and that is why I brought you here. I want you to go to school. I want you to get your driver's license. You don't have a job, honey, and they don't have money to support you. That's why Dad and I are here. We are here to take care of you. We were told we were not allowed to call that house by the police.
Because of the threats, that was why.
Who threatened who?
I threatened David.
I thought he was the dangerous guy. And later...
First off, hold on.
Wait,
this is what you need to understand.
No, wait.
Let me finish.
No.
I've heard enough of you where I want to talk.
Excuse me, I'm your adult, and you will respect me.
I'm an adult, too. You have to earn respect in order for me to give it.
Is she over-controlling you?
I think so.
Are you trying to leverage her with money? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely not.
They can't take you. You come home, we'll take care of you, but if you don't, we won't?
No.
No.
It sounded like what you said. We're here for you.
Right.
You have to come home to avail yourself of that. Did you tell her that if she wanted to go to a family celebration, she had to agree to come home for 2 weeks or 3 weeks in order to be allowed to go to that?
That was my mom's idea, yes, because it was my grandparents' 70th wedding anniversary.
Okay, so if she wants to come to the 70th wedding anniversary, her price of admission, she has to agree to come home for how long?
We had asked her to come home for a month, and she agreed to 2 weeks.
Okay, so you can come to this celebration, but to do that, you have to agree to come home for a month and
Right.
negotiate it down to 2 weeks.
There was a reason for that. When Alexi comes home, my house gets turned upside down. I have 2 boys with autism. They need consistency. And when she left the first time, my boys didn't sleep, nothing. Now, every time I leave the house, because she has come and gone so many times without saying goodbye to them. And
But she couldn't just go to the party. She had to come home first.
Right.
Why couldn't she just go to the party?
Because
David's not allowed there. David's not allowed around my other children, period.
They told me. I told them about the party when I came there when it was a couple weeks before, and they told me they would make sure that I was able to go.
And they also told you that if you came back the last time that they were not going to come and get you. That was the exact words that came out of your mouth.
And that they were angry with you? And that you were getting attitude from them because you wanted to come home? Because they told you you're in such a dangerous situation when you're at home. What danger are you in at our house?
Are they telling you that?
They tell me that my parents are controlling, and I know they are.
Are you like a rope in a tug-of-war here?
Yeah, I feel like it.
Are they pulling you to stay there and they're pulling you to come home?
I feel like they're pulling me to come home. David and his parents, and his family, I should say, they're supportive with me with what I want. They told me, you want to go home, you can go home. You want to stay here, you can stay here. I am choosing to stay where I am.
Because of David?
I'm happy there.
Does he support a relationship with your mother?
Yeah, he wants me to have a relationship.
Is that why he sits and calls me a bitch on Facebook? Is that why his mom badmouthed me all the time on Facebook? I could go on and on, honey.
Yeah, and you do the same right back.
Oh, I have no, you know what? Yes, at the beginning, you're absolutely right. I did. I was angry. I couldn't believe a mother would come and take a child in the middle of the night like that. That's horrible to do it to another mother. And if it would have been me in that situation, I think I would have reached out to the parents to try to find out what was really going on in that home before I took a child in the middle of the night from someone.
So you think she's just bad news?
His mother is bad news. She's horrible.
You've never even talked to her.
I've read her posts. I've read what she said to you in your Facebook conversations from your phone.
That you had, okay.
Yeah,
What the hell has the world come to that we're talking through Facebook posts?
I agree.
I agree with you 100%.
What happened to...
I wish Facebook would go away.
We were told we were not allowed to call that house by the police. I had no way of I couldn't call that.
Because of the threats. That was why.
Who threatened who?
I threatened David. I
thought he was the dangerous guy. I thought he was the gun-toting survivalist who was going to shoot everybody up.
When she took off the first time, of course, my house turned upside down. I was angry. I tried to get a hold of David. Come to find out it wasn't his phone. It was actually a stepdad answered, and I told his stepdad that I was going to beat the crap out of him if I saw him. My son, on the other hand...
What did his stepdad have to do with it?
He was the one that answered the phone at the time, and I was angry.
Well, so you just go Billy Badass on whoever answers the phone?
Oh, no, I wasn't threatening his stepdad. I was saying when I saw David, I was going to beat the crap out of him.
You were just telling him to tell somebody else you would whip his ass.
Yes.
Okay, well, up next, Alexis' gun-toting survivalist boyfriend David is here, maybe to collect his ass whipping. I don't know. Just kidding, of course. We don't do that here. We're going to conduct ourselves like adults. We're going to talk about this in a mature fashion. He says Gina has no one to blame but herself when it comes to Alexis leaving home. We're going to find out what David has to say about Mom Gina and Mike when we come back and have an intelligent conversation. We'll be right back.
I did not kidnap Alexis. I never forced her in a vehicle. She's 18. This is our relationship, not theirs. I own 4 guns. I have been teaching Alexis stuff about guns. I take threats very, very seriously. I'm armed, and I will use it if necessary.
And later,
I am not putting up with this lying. I am sick of it, okay?
Lying.
She
You're
asked me to
lying.
come get her. I'm lying? Are
You're
you kidding me?
lying.
First of all, you went into her Facebook and she's 18.
It was
That's
my
invasion
phone.
of privacy.
Really?
That's a federal offense, just to let you know.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue.
all of a sudden?
I believe Alexis is in danger at that home. There's drug activity. Alexis has never drank before. The guns are very scary to me. I know that Alexis has shot the guns before. It bothers me a lot. I want my daughter to come home now.
Gina is convinced her daughter Alexis' new boyfriend not only took her from her home, but is now filling her head with delusions about the end of the world. David admits he is a survivalist and is only preparing for the inevitable.
My name is David. People call me DJ because that's my model name. When I first met Gina, she was very rude. Her family hates me and my family. The story is very similar to Romeo and Juliet. They both kill themselves. I don't like the ending, but yeah. I do want them to back off and leave us alone. We're both adults. This is our relationship, not theirs. You could say that I'm a survivalist. I know how to make traps. I know how to hunt with bow and arrow. I spearfish. I know how to make fire without a lighter and matches. I'm starting to learn how to make antibiotics, too. If you put me in the woods with minimal tools, I could survive efficiently. I'm very confident in that. I own 4 guns, a M4 carbine, SR9C Ruger, a 22, and a single-shot 30-30. I have been teaching Alexis stuff about guns because I'm taking her hunting this year. Just a pellet gun? There we go. I did not kidnap her daughter. I never forced her in a vehicle. She said she wanted me to come pick her up. I pulled up to her house, and she got in the car. It was her choice alone, and it was a legal choice. She's 18. I am not controlling. I think it's the other way around. I think Gina's the one trying to brainwash her. At my house, she has an opinion. She has a voice. I am sexually active with Alexis. I don't know any 16 to however old you want to say isn't sexually active. My intentions are not to get her pregnant. I want to be married before we do that. Mike directly threatened me once on the phone. He was going to find me and, quote-unquote, destroy me. If Mike does come in a threatening manner, I will detain him and call the police. I take threats very, very seriously. I'm armed, and I will use it if necessary. I'm fed up.
Okay. Did you kidnap her?
No, not at all. She's the one that asked me to come get her.
She asked you to come get her?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah.
And you did?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I made sure she wanted to go. I called her, and I made sure that it was her final decision, that she wanted to go home with me or she wanted to stay. I was messaging her, I called her, my mother was gonna drive me because I can't drive long distances. It's a 3.5-hour drive there and 3.5-hour drive back.
Why can't you drive long distances?
I hurt my back 2 years ago.
So you came with your mother?
Yes.
And you asked her if she wanted to go. Did he ask you if you wanted to go?
Yeah.
And did you actually call him and say, come get me?
I believe it was Facebook Messenger.
Oh, of course, Facebook.
I
So
saw the messages.
You sent him a message and said, come get me. And did he say, are you sure?
Yeah, he when we talked on the phone, he told me, he's like, you need to make sure this is what you want. Think about it, make sure that's what you want to do before I come get you, because, it's a long drive. So.
And your reply was, I don't know if I can do this, I'm scared. And he said, Alexis, just trust me. Just jump in, have faith, trust me.
You said he kidnapped her.
He did.
Well, as I'm asking the kidnappee, it sounds to me like this was a dialogue between the two of them.
Physically, she chose to go.
And, well, then that's not kidnapping.
But mentally, I think he got into her head. He told her, jump
kidnapping
into it.
is
She
when
was
you,
scared.
like, put a bag over someone's head and you carry them and put them, like, in the trunk, and you drive them away against their will and hold them against their will. Words are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Did he kidnap your daughter?
In my eyes, yes, I believe they did. This is not Alexis. This is nothing she would ever do.
Come get me. Okay?
He told her to erase all the messages beforehand, so I never saw the "come get me."
Because
I saw the.
you wouldn't have let me leave.
Okay, did he kidnap you?
No.
Did he kidnap her?
If she's saying he didn't, in her eyes, that's fine. But in my eyes, I'm her mother. I look at it differently.
Okay, look, I'm just trying to deal with the facts. You may not like the fact that he's turned her head. You may not like the fact that she is a smitten kitten. You may not like the fact that these two, Romeo and Juliet, have gone off. No, I don't think she's stupid. She may not be the most mature person in the world. She's 18. She may not see around corners. She may not have all the life experience you do, but that's a far cry from being kidnapped. And I'm trying to find out whether you are an overreactive, hyperbole describing, histrionic mother, or if your daughter was in fact kidnapped and we have the sumbitch here and need to throw the cuffs on him. I'm trying to figure out where we are. Where do you fall on the continuum? Are you like, woo, or is this overstated by you?
I think it was more the way that everything happened.
The way it went down.
You don't seem as
I would not use the word
histrionic as she might be.
I would not say that she was kidnapped. I would say that they both were conniving and sneaky. And I talked to you earlier that day on the phone, and you
threatened to kill me that
He
day.
never
Well, that is not when I
had
threatened to kill you.
My brother was on. You were on speakerphone.
Really?
Speakerphone.
Because the first time I talked to you, David, I'm telling you right now.
The first time we talked was actually at the party.
What? Where you were right before we left when you first introduced yourself?
First left. I sat there for 20 minutes and talked to him. I didn't even know that Dad was going to be there because she said, I didn't know about the stepfather-dad issue.
Was this
that
the party
never
you
explained
walked
to me.
around with a holster on your belt?
I don't like take, when my holster's on, it's hard to get on and off.
Oh, please.
Okay, you want to put a holster on nonstop?
I can.
Okay, well, I'm not you.
And we specifically told you, Alexis, you tell David if he comes to this party, why?
Why didn't you? You told me you did.
Yeah, so you lied to me.
I didn't bring the gun to the party.
Didn't you?
No, yeah, exactly. I left in the car. I didn't bring it to the party. I was on public
What I should have done
property.
is I should have thrown you into your car.
What kind of party was this?
And that would have
A
been assault, and then
graduation,
you
a
would have
family
gotten arrested.
graduation party at
According
my
to Wisconsin
grandparents'
law.
house.
Okay, hold on. This was a family graduation party?
Yes.
It was a graduation
For
party.
who?
And
Alexis.
This is your graduation party?
Yeah.
And were you going to bring a gun?
I bring it for self-defense on the way. I left in the car.
It just seemed odd to wear a gun to a graduation party.
I didn't wear it. I mean, I did nothing illegal. I did everything perfectly legal.
Okay.
No,
I
it
open
wasn't the
carry.
fact he did something illegal.
Did you
The fact
say
that
you
we
were
supposed to bring it?
Did you say you said you were mad? Did you say you were going to kill him?
I did not say I was going to kill him. That was actually not me.
Were you going to maim him or what?
I was going to beat him is what I said. And that wasn't that day. That was actually after, and that was something I said to your stepdad, not you.
You said it to me, and then you said it twice to my stepdad in front of an officer.
David.
No, no, I did say it.
I am not putting up with this lying. I am sick of it, okay?
Lying.
She asked me to come get her. I'm lying? Are you
You're
kidding me?
lying.
First of all, you went into her Facebook because she's 18.
It was
That's
my
invasion
phone.
of privacy.
Really?
That's a federal offense, just to let you know.
Okay,
I'm
are
not
you a
gonna
lawyer
argue
all of
with
a sudden?
No, but I did go to school for 2 years to be a cop.
Why don't you shut the hell up and let her
I'm
talk?
not gonna. You guys are the ones yelling at me. You guys are saying all these insinuating things about me. I'm not going to shut my mouth. If I'm going to defend myself, I'm going to defend myself. I don't get intimidated very easily.
Honestly, Dr. Phil, if I didn't think I'd go to jail for it, I would go across this 3 feet of floor right here and I'd take his damn head off.
What is your objective right now? Just
honestly, Dr. Phil, if I didn't think I'd go to jail for it, I would go across this 3 feet of floor right here and I'd take his damn head off.
Why?
Because I can't stand him.
Why?
He's a pompous, cocky.
With everything that's happened, with her taking off, and whenever my wife has talked to Alexis, he's always in the background chirping in her ear because she's not allowed to have an opinion.
The two little ones are so angry with you. Every time I leave Alexis, Mama, are you coming back? You're not going to run away like Lexi did, are you? Please promise me you're coming home. Really? Look what you've done to the family. Grandpa, who's, I've never seen Grandpa cry in my life. He's 91 years old. He bawled his eyes out the day you took off. He was so worried about you. You've turned our whole entire family. You flipped it upside down.
My actual problem here is I'm mad at both of them just as much.
Yeah, well, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I
What would be the first one?
do. Where do I go from here? I want a relationship with my daughter. I don't
Okay,
want...
let me answer that one. I assume there's a question in that. How do I have a relationship with my daughter?
Yes.
Okay, because if we were going to make a list of ways you could alienate and drive your daughter away, what you're doing right now in the last 5 minutes would be the absolute best way to alienate and drive her away. You couldn't push her to him anymore if you had a stick and was chasing her down the street.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I tried everything.
You know, listen, I've got more degrees than a thermometer, but I'm just an old country boy at heart. I look at what works. And I'm listening to you and saying, you should feel guilty. Everybody in the family is mad at you. Look what you've done. You've ruined our family. You've done this. You've done that. You're a horrible person. I'm thinking, my God, I would go stick my head in a blender before I would come home. I mean, seriously, just based on results, it would be like, okay, here's the deal. You can get in a phone booth and sandpaper the butt on an alligator, or you can go home. I would say, tell me a little more about this alligator. Seriously, you're making it so unattractive to come home. And you know that she has an affinity for him right now, so you say, if I wasn't going to go to jail, I'd come across these 3 feet and tear his head off of his body. Okay, then she would just have a stump.
Well, it'd be better than him.
Well, I understand what I said and how I feel. Probably isn't the right way.
You think?
I mean, my biggest thing is Alexis made a decision. The difference here between my wife and
Maybe she has. It's a process.
Yes,
Look,
and I understand.
How old are you?
19.
And?
18.
Okay. Come on, they're 18 and 19.
His
okay?
mom is already planning their wedding.
I've never heard of this one. That's funny.
Oh.
Are you gonna start telling them how I supposedly practice witchcraft too while you're at it?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Well, you said
You
over
smoke
Facebook.
weed, you drink, you get my daughter drunk.
I don't get your daughter drunk.
David.
That's like saying spoons make people fat.
Well, okay, let's take it.
It's pretty simple. First off, hold on. This is what you need. No, this is what you need to understand. No, I haven't talked to you. I talked to you for 20 minutes. That's the only time I talked to you, except on Facebook Messenger. That's it. Otherwise, I've talked to you in person. No, let me finish.
No.
I've heard enough of your where I want to talk.
Excuse me, I'm your adult, and you will
I know.
respect
I'm an
me.
adult too. I don't respect people that don't. You have to earn respect in order for me to give it. Okay? I don't live up to make people happy.
Hold on. Time out. I'm fairly certain that me and the FCC deserve some respect. So let's keep our rhetoric a little cleaner. Go ahead.
When she made the decision for me to come pick her up, I said, let me at least talk to someone in your family so they know that it's not me doing this. I know all fingers are me pointing me to come get you, but I'm willing to take that fall. I'm willing to do that. And I went and picked her up, and I didn't even pull up in your driveway for one. I was on the freaking roadway, which is public property. I never trespassed there, and we took Alexis straight to the police so that she could tell them that she left her on her own will. So you wouldn't call a cop and say I kidnapped her, but here we are. I supposedly kidnapped her. I didn't do anything wrong. And you haven't even talked to me civilly as an adult, period.
Well, let's take a break. Coming up, Gina is afraid that David is putting Alexis' life in jeopardy. She says he is an admitted survivalist with a cache of weapons, plus Mom says he is getting her drunk and they are having sex. We'll talk about that when we come back.
I saw text messages, David, where you guys were talking back
Really?
and forth.
I don't want that brought up because that's between me and Alexis. That's it. Her Facebook was taken over by them.
Well, sue them.
I'm going to, actually.
If anything bad was to happen in the United States that would deem that we need to leave and go somewhere safe, I'd have a doomsday plan. No one knows the full plan except me and my brothers. They know the general area, but I am the only one that knows the exact location where we're going. It's a 9-month trip completely on foot, and I'm very well prepared. I have people their knowledge in medicine, hunting and trapping, building, construction. After I get people to the location I need to go, I will be coming back to get more.
David says he's tried to teach Alexis how to use a rifle. So you agree you've taught her how to shoot guns?
Yes, I have.
And that sort of thing. And have you enjoyed that?
Yeah, I plan on going hunting this year, so.
Yeah, so do you object to that?
I object to that, yes. Hunting for hunting reasons, no. I'm okay with hunting.
She's wanted to do that.
Yeah, she's wanted to bow hunt forever. But just to get a gun just because and shoot a rifle just because, I'm not for that, no.
Yeah, well, you kind of have to do that before you hunt.
Right, and I understand that. And I get that, yes, at a range,
You don't
right?
just go out and start spraying around the woods. So you got to do, you got to get familiar first, but okay. Is there anybody that could have picked her up at midnight and taken her to their house that you would have been okay with? It's the circumstance you don't like.
If she'd have been honest about it and actually come up and said, hey, I'm going to leave, and not in the middle of the night sneaking off like you're doing something wrong when you're 18, whatever.
But he doesn't own that. She owns. That's her issue.
Yes, it is.
You're right,
That's not his issue.
No, his issue was when he talked to me on the phone and basically lied to me.
How would I lie to you?
I said, what's going on? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
You did know.
No, I don't.
You were the entire
okay,
day.
so tell me what else I'm thinking while you guys are at it.
David,
I saw text messages, David, where you guys were talking back
Really?
and forth.
I don't want that brought up because that's between me and Alexis. That's it. You guys got access to that. Her Facebook is hacked. You guys changed the email.
Wow.
She had to make a whole new. The why just 3 days ago. We're at the hotel to say active 1 day ago.
What do
when
you
we
mean
can't
you don't
gain
want it
access.
brought up? They can talk about anything they want.
But it's from the message between me and her. We didn't disclose that. Her Facebook was taken over by them.
Yeah, well, sue them.
Yeah, I'm going to, actually.
Do what you want to do, but they can talk whatever they want to talk about. You're worried about drinking.
You wouldn't have left Facebook.
Drinking.
He's giving her alcohol.
Yes.
So, and she's underage.
Right.
You also found out they're having sex, and you object to that.
Yes, because she went to a church camp and she was telling everybody at church that she thought she was pregnant and she was excited about it because David wants to have a baby.
No.
She put it in a message to her friend. Her friend sent me the message, David.
Okay, so you saw what she said. You didn't ask me.
Well, why would she
The
think
problem
that?
is you guys never called and wanted to talk to me civilly and asked me, David, what's going on? Now, if I was in your shoes, because I'm a parent, I'd wonder, okay, why did my daughter do this?
No.
No, I would have talked to the person civilly.
And if you were a respectable young man, you would have came to the door when you picked her up and said, I am taking your daughter because she
After the
doesn't want to be here
stepfather
no more.
threatens to come and go up to the door, hi, I'm here to get your daughter.
I didn't threaten you until after that happened.
No, actually, you threatened me before because that's what caused her to want to leave. Is because
No,
you did
David.
That. No, I'm not putting up with lies.
I'm not going to argue with
I
you.
have witnesses. I grew up sleeping on a concrete floor. I've been in 26 schools, 6 different high schools. I'm about to go to my 3rd college.
This isn't about
I've been
you,
all
this is
over.
about her.
No. You guys made this all about me. I am such a bad guy. That's what you guys made out. Well, thank you for telling me that. After you threw Bible verses out there saying how hard of a Christian you are, but yet you're examining the speck before you can remove the plank from your face. That's the problem.
Really?
Yeah, that is the problem. You want to play this Bible verse
You're going to try to pull
stuff?
Bible on me when you're a survivalist. Doomsday people don't believe in the Bible.
Okay, first of all.
Because if they did, they would
Doomsday
believe.
stuff. Have you ever read Revelations? I think the Revelations probably like talks with the end of times. I mean, am I the only one that thinks this?
I'm done.
Do you think that there is potential for a future in this relationship?
100%.
And how about yourself?
I want to settle down.
Can you and I have a chat for a minute?
Sure.
Tell me, you're in a new relationship with David, right? You guys have known each other now how long?
Almost 3 months.
Almost 3 months? And how's it going?
Great. Besides the drama.
Yeah. You've had some ups and downs, right?
Every relationship does.
Yeah, including this one.
Nothing major, just like little tiffs, nothing like...
Do you think that there is potential for a future in this relationship?
Yeah, I do.
Would you like for there to be?
100%.
And how about yourself?
I want to settle down. I've already been through enough crap with people. I already have 1 kid. I don't want to keep going through getting hurt from people. I actually gave up on dating completely, and then we were introduced, and one thing led to another. And that's usually how it works. You start dating.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing you should be grateful to her for. She introduced
I am
you.
very happy about it. I mean, me and her, we never argued in the beginning. I mean, she's actually the one that invited me to the graduation party. And the first thing that happened, I walked in the front door, well, it bit me in the ass. That's the first words that ever came out of my mouth. Hi, David, how are you? I'm Gina, I'm her mother. Nothing. I introduced myself. Then, she told me, oh, my dad's not showing up at the graduation. And then, apparently I pissed you off, because she said my dad's not going to my graduation. I didn't know about the stepfather-daddy issue, and I tried to tell you that. Then, when I found out that you were the stepdad, I didn't want to interrupt the party and the graduation stuff because I wasn't going to hang out with everybody after and meet everybody. It wasn't my place to go, hey, my name's David.
You shouldn't have even come then if that's the way you felt.
What?
You shouldn't have come to a family function if you didn't want to be around family and interrupt.
It's not that I didn't want to be around them. I didn't want to interrupt. You guys are celebrating your graduation. I'm a new person. I was waiting until afterwards so you guys didn't have your celebration because I wasn't around for that. It would have been selfish.
And
I was having manners and letting the party play out, and then I was going to introduce myself.
Any stand-up person would have came up and said, hi.
No, I had him come up with me when we were in the garage.
Yeah, after I finally bit
No,
you.
that was before.
No, it was after we said something to you.
It was before because he first came
so
in.
Perhaps protocol was breached. We'll talk about that perhaps another time. My question is, are you interested in exploring a relationship with her going forward?
Yes.
But do you guys realize that you're early on in the curve of this relationship?
Well, we're well aware of that.
And, I mean, you're both very young, and you're early in this relationship. So the odds are that you're sitting there with the person that you will spend the rest of your lives with is pretty low. Just statistically, it's pretty low. I mean, it might work out, it might not. What you do is you manage a relationship you have while you have it, but you're careful not to lose yourself or your life dreams and goals along the way. I mean, reasonable, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you find some commonalities and reasons to move forward, and maybe you don't. But you have to be responsible as you go along. And you mentioned there was dad and stepdad, and you didn't know how all of that worked out. When I introduced the guest earlier, I warned you that this story had a few twists and turns. Well, next, David said Gina has tried to convince everyone that he brainwashed her daughter. But David is convinced it's the other way around. He says Gina is the one who has done the brainwashing. He believed it all started long ago when Alexis was just a baby. I'll explain what all that means when we come back. But you heard me say at the end of the last segment that David is convinced that Gina may have been the one who brainwashed Alexis when she was just a baby. There is a whole other layer to this story. Here's a preview. In 45 years, this is a first for me.
The story
Something happened. I know something happened.
takes another turn.
I believe that Dan sexually molested our daughter.
Did you or did you not molest your daughter?
100% did not.
I was only going on what my daughter was telling me.
Is it possible you weren't hearing that clearly?
This family drama
What better way to hurt somebody? Take their kids away.
is far from over.
I have no reason to lie.
I don't buy it, lady.
And
I asked for a lie detector to prove that I wasn't lying about what.
both parents
Did you ever have sexual contact with Alexis?
take a polygraph.
Let's look at the results. You do not want to miss tomorrow. I want to thank all of my guests today. Go to drphil.com for more information. We'll see you tomorrow.
Which one of you hid the rum? There it is. I found it. Here's the rum. All right. Pause. Off. Off. Oh, let's turn the heat off on you. You don't need to be hot anymore. Just wipe it down with a little butter while they're still hot. Buttery goodness. And let's get 2 more on the thing. 59 grams of rum. lower the heat on you because we don't need you too hot. Morning streams in this economy? Heck yes, Claudio. Welcome in. And I need a little bit of brown sugar. Half a cup of brown sugar. We're gonna go dark brown sugar, chat. We're gonna go dark brown sugar on this one. It's the new meta. You know, it was told to me that I should do some more Sunday streams. Do we want this? Or should I do like a Saturday morning? Friday night and Saturday morning? Or Saturday night and Sunday morning? Maybe I give myself Friday night to myself. What do you think? Or Friday night, Sunday morning? This is my alt account. It is the long con. Exactly, Claudio. Sunset. And it is un-American. It's true. I like to be un-American personally. Let's flip our chicken around. Is this on? This is indeed on. Saturday night and Sunday morning is a good movie. Is it actually a good movie? Because I'm used to you telling me about good movies, so. Before the dawn. No regrets. Is lost and stuck in the middle. I want a little char on you, baby. I want to make sure my chicken's cooked through. That movie Friendship? I don't even know that movie Friendship. All right, let me get the whisk for this. Oh, sorry, my arm just totally... It's with Paul Rudd. Ooh. I do like Paul Rudd. '1960s. All right, I'm in. I'm in India. All right, let's flip these. I'm just going to let the butter melt. I don't want to burn this glaze. There we go. The glaze is done. What I want to see, I want to see a couple of movies, honestly. I would love to see that movie Sinners, because 2 people have told me about it. So I would like to see it. All right. Our pita, I'm going to tell you honestly, chat. Friday night's pita came out better. But it's okay. Madam Power something. Please hold. Wants to see Sinners. Well, then let's go. Is that not? I'm going to get a tray and put this in the oven. Because some of these pieces are done, but some are not. This piece is 100% done. And nicely charred, too. Look at this. That thick piece is not done. So I'm going to put it in the oven to finish. And I'm going to put the last piece on. Balder! Hi, Balder. Welcome in. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you. I just realized I made like the joke from somebody else's stream, but that was not my intention, honestly. How you doing today? I know. I saw you followed midweek. I was like, "Oh, Balder." It really does make me sad that I don't get to see a lot of my European and UK people, because it just timing. We were literally just talking about I might try and change up my stream times to have more like maybe I'll do Friday night and Saturday morning. What do we think? Heck yes. First of all, I love my D so much. All right, while these finish, we're going to come over here. Excuse my crazy. Always fun. Yeah, and that, you know what? That's true. That's something I say to people, like, stream at a time that works for you. Don't worry about other people, so that's very fair. And that's why I want to see if it works for me. You know what I mean? Because it would be nice to see more people in general, right? All right, we got the pita going. See my everything. Always fine to experiment. I agree, Claudio. Well, now look. Here's the rum cake. Here's the rum cake.